But thank you very much for all of you taking out your time. First of all, I would like to thank Shriji Priyamataji and Prabhuji for opening their homes to all of us. Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Thank you, Manaji. Thank you, Prabhu. I know it takes, huh? And of course, kids. Oh, really? Wow. Thank you so much for. I know it takes a lot of effort to. Uh, we just come and leave, but for the devotees in whose home we have the program, it takes a lot of effort to, first of all, make arrangement initially, and after we leave, a lot of cleaning and winding up to do. So we are almost ending towards the month of Damodar, the Kartik month of 2022. In the process of Krishna consciousness, our aim is actually to become Krishna conscious. And whatever facilitates to enhance our Krishna consciousness, we adopt it in our life. Whatever is favorable, we accept, and what is unfavorable, we try to leave it aside. So month of Kartik is one of the excuse, or you can say one way to enhance our devotion or our Krishna consciousness. So in this month, we try to, actually according to the Vaishnava culture, the 4 months of Chaturmasya are actually the time to enhance our bhajan, enhance our devotion to Krishna. Perform some austerities. We do some minimum austerity, right? First month we try to refrain from shad. Second month from yogurt. Third month from milk. And this Kartik month we refrain from urad dal. Especially for devotees from south is very difficult. No idli sambar. Especially no idli dosa. Right? Really? I mean, when I lived in Mumbai Temple Ashram, we never had difficulty with urad dal so much, but we all had difficulty with milk. Not that now we don't have, now also we have. Third month is little difficult. But that is our minimum austerity we do. No. But these last 5 days actually, beginning from Ekadashi, Uthana Ekadashi to the end of Kartik month, these 5 days are considered Bhishma Panchaka. Many people have concoction that Bhishma Panchaka is related to Bhishma Dev, leaving his body. Nothing to do with that. Because Bhishma, now we'll be having soon, next month we'll be having Gita Jayanti. That's the time when actually Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Then the battle happened. And then Bhishma Dev was laying on the bed of arrow. And then during the Sankranti, Makar Sankranti, Bhishma Dev left his body. So Bhishma Dev leaving his body is just, if you say 5 days, there will be 5 days before Sankranti. There will be from 9th of January to 14th January. Yeah. 14th January generally Uttarayan starts. So this Bhishma Panchaka has nothing to do with Bhishma, but Bhishma means very severe, because Bhishma Dev took a severe vow. Right? So Bhishma Panchaka means 5. So very severe vows of 5 days has some significance. Last 5 days of the Chaturmasya, if you do follow some vrata, any vrata you follow, that is equivalent to being followed for all the 4 months of Chaturmasya. That means if you refrain from eating urad dal for those 5 days, that means you will avoid it for all the 4 months. Of course, Bhishma Panchaka is for those who are not able to do any vows or vrata. The idea is not to reduce. I know, Sachinand Madhav Prabhu, all of you know, right? Many of you on the call. His brother, you know, he's very interesting person, very nice, you know, just like Sachinand Madhav Prabhu is also very wonderful person. But when you tell him to chant Hare Krishna, he said, Prabhu, when I go to Vrindavan, I'll chant. And generally, we used to go to Vrindavan always in the month of Kartik. So he heard that in month of Kartik, in Vrindavan, if you chant 1 round, it's equal to chanting 1,000 rounds. Or somebody told him, I think, million rounds. So he said, I'm chanting 16 million rounds every day. That's my lifetime quota. So whenever he goes to Vrindavan, he chants 16 rounds every day. But when he comes to Mumbai, no, I won't chant now. So idea is not like that. The idea is to encourage people who don't want to follow any vow, at least follow these 5 days. So if you avoid taking milk, urad dal, spinach and everything for 5 days, this is considered you followed entire 4 months that vrata. So therefore some devotees, they just eat once a day, take some different vows. But most important is the vrata does not mean only don'ts, but vrata means do's. So what you do during those 5 days is also very significant. It's also considered followed for all the 4 months of Chaturmasi. So somebody takes a vow that 5 days I will chant 32 rounds. That's equivalent to chanting 32 rounds for your entire Chaturmasi. Or somebody decides to offer, like we're discussing yesterday, offer some special flowers to the deities, some fragrant flowers. It's very difficult to get fragrant flowers here, right? To offer some fragrant flowers for all the 5 days. Yes, Paul? So does that mean if someone opposes in 5 days, they get any more? Well, I think we will leave it there only. I think if we use the same logic, it may help a person to avoid sinful activity. So yes, you can say yes, it will be multiplied millionfold. So the whole idea is any excuse we get to enhance our Krishna consciousness, we should take that opportunity. So this month of Kartik is especially a month, very special for devotees, where the devotees enhance their devotional service. One of the prime way we enhance our devotional service is by every day offering ghee lamp and singing Damodarashtakam. Right? So at least this much every devotee should do in the month of Damodar. We should sing every day. Even if you can't go to temple every day, at home, you should sing Damodarashtakam every day and offer lamp to the Lord. Even if you are not good at singing, you can play some devotee singing, some recording, and offer lamp and meditate on this. In fact, meditation on the prayers by the different Vaishnavas is one of the very potent and powerful way of enhancing our Krishna consciousness. Meditation is very well done through meditating on the prayers of the Vaishnavacharyas. So this Damodarashtakam is actually one of the very beautiful prayers. I know many of us, we have been singing for many years, but it is also very nice to know the meaning of each and every word and then meditate on that. So I thought Today, we will try to discuss word for word and also some of the uh, thoughts by Sanatan Goswami on this particular prayer of Damodarashtakam. So, commentary by Srila Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami has given an exclusive commentary on these 8 verses. So, we'll try to look into which will help and enhance our meditation on Damodarashtakam. Okay. So, let's begin with, I don't know if we can do it till what time we can go on. I can take that option. You do? Okay, so let's begin. Namamishwaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Yashoda Bhiyolukandavamanam Paramrishtamartyam Tato Drutya Gopyam. So, this prayer, Satyavrata Muni begins by Namam. Namam means pranam, offering pranam. He says, Namam, I offer my obeisances to Ishvara. Now there are many Ishvaras in this world. Indra is also Ishvara. He controls. Ishvara means to control. Isha, Vara. One who controls by his desire. Okay. That's called Ishvara. So Ishvara, there are many Ishvaras in this world. Varuna controls all the water bodies. Indra controls the rains. Agni controls the fire. So, Satyavrata Muni is saying, Namam Ishwaram, I am offering my obeisances to a controller. But what kind of controller? Satchit Ananda Rupam. The controller who has a form, Rupam. He is not formless. As impersonalists generally think. He is not formless. He is Rupam. He has a form. But what kind of form? Not earth, water, fire, air, ether. Like the controllers in this creation, everyone has a material body. Indra has a material body. Chandra, Vayu, Varuna, Agni, everyone has material bodies made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. But Satyavrata Muni is saying, I am offering my obeisances to, my pranams to Ishvara, who is Satchit Ananda, whose form is eternal, Sat, Chit, full of knowledge, and Ananda, full of bliss. So he's not offering obeisances to any Ishvara. He's offering pranams to a particular Ishvara who has Satchid Ananda Rupa. Namam Ishwaram Satchit Ananda Rupa Lasat Kundalam. Now he's describing the form of this Ishvara. First of all, he is Satchid Ananda. But how does he look like? So he begins, first of all, meditating on his earrings. Lasat Kundalam. Generally, the jewelry that is worn in the ear is called Karnaveshta. So any jewelry you put on the ear is called Karnaveshta. Satyavrata Muni is not saying Karnaveshta. He's saying Kundalam. This Satchid Ananda form of the Lord, he's wearing earrings, but not Karnaveshta. He's wearing Kundala. Kundala is a specific kind of jewelry, which generally has dangling portion. Has some dangling. That is called Kundala. Generally, some shape or some form, some circular or something other forms is dangling down. It's called Kundala. So Krishna wears Makara Kundala. He always wears shark-shaped earrings. Makara is generally said shark, but it's not really shark. It's actually a very resemblance of shark, but it's a different creature in itself. It's called Makara. So Krishna wears the earrings shape of Makara, Kundala. So he says, Lasat Kundala. These Kundala are glistening. They're very much shining. Lasat. They're golden, therefore they are shining. So Krishna is wearing beautiful jewelry. Now in this world, generally, jewelry is worn to look beautiful, right? But Krishna does not wear jewelry to look beautiful. Jewelry looks beautiful on Krishna. Uddhava, actually, in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, he says, Krishna is Bhushana Bhushanangam. He is the ornament of the ornament. That means ornaments look beautiful on him. Now, whenever you see jewelry, advertisement of jewelry, do you see just jewelry? Generally, some beautiful face, right? That is wearing jewelry, right? So generally, they want to advertise jewelry by some beautiful face, where it looks beautiful. So Krishna is actually the person on whom every bhushana, every jewelry looks beautiful. Lasat Kundalam. So Krishna is wearing this Kundala and he is living in Gokula. Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana. Brajamana means actually to shine, who is effulgent in Vraja, in Gokula. So Krishna is shining in the divine realm of Gokula. We read this translation, right? But when you know the meaning, which word is actually translated in that way, that helps to even meditate when we are actually singing this Damodarashtakam. And then Yashoda Bhiya. Bhiya means to be afraid of. So he is afraid of a gopi named Yashoda. Yashoda Bhiyo Uluka. Ulukalag Dhavamana. Out of fear of Mother Yashoda, Bhiya. It's very interesting. Krishna is fearful of Mother Yashoda. Vishnu Chakri Thakur actually explains in this regard, if anyone reads this pastime of Krishna in Damodar Leela and he thinks Krishna is doing some drama of being afraid, see, that person does not know the Rasa Tattva. That person is ignorant. If he thinks that Krishna is doing some drama, no. Krishna is actually fearful. He's not just acting to be fearful. He's actually fearful of Mother Yashoda. So when he sees stick in the mother's hand, Krishna is actually feeling fearful. This is actually Leela of the Lord. So Yashoda Bhiya, he is afraid of Mother Yashoda. Now somebody who knows the Aishwarya Tattva of the Lord, he will think, how can that be possible? In Bhagavatam we read, Madbhaya, Krishna, the Kapila Muni says, Madbhayat Vati Vatoyam Surya Tapati Madbhayat. Vrishtati Indro Dahati Agni Mrityuscharati Madbhayat. He says, Madbhayat Vati Vatoyam. The air is flowing all over out of my fear. Surya Tapti, the sun is brilliantly shining and giving warmth out of my fear. Vrishtati Indro, Indra is sending rains in a timely manner. Dahatir Agni, Agni is burning everything. Mrityuscharati Madhvaya. And Mrityu, the goddess of death, she goes around taking the toll out of my fear. So, how is that Lord, even the death personified is afraid of him, is afraid of Mother Yashoda? But he is. He's fearful of Mother Yashoda. Yashoda Bhiyo. And what he's doing out of fear? Uluka. Uluka is grinding mortar. Grinding mortar is an ancient way of grinding. Nowadays mixies, but no mixies in those days. They would use. Does anyone of you ever done grinding with the hand? So what happens when you try to, say, grind black pepper? They pop out, right? So in order to prevent from popping out, this ukhala is made in such a way, it has a very thin middle portion. You can put all the spices and then a hammer kind of thing, wooden hammer, which is just enough, wide to cover the whole area. So you're grinding, nothing pops up. Everything remains inside. So uluka is that kind of a very scientific, way of grinding the spices they were using in ancient times. So Krishna is sitting on that uluka when he is eating butter, and Mother Yashoda comes from behind. So he realizes Mother Yashoda is coming. So he says, Yashoda bhiya uluka dhavaman. He's jumping from the uluka because he was sitting on top of uluka and started dhavamanam, running. So Krishna is running out of fear of Mother Yashoda. But paramrishtam, but he is being caught from behind. Paramrishtam means to be caught from behind. And atyanta drutya. Atyanta means too much, right? Say atyanta. Atyantika dukkha nivriti, the ultimate destruction of this misery. So atyanta is too much, and dhruta is swift. So one who was too much swifter than him. Now, who can be swifter than Krishna? Ishopanishada in the 4th verse says that the Supreme Lord, situated in his own abode, overcomes all the runnings. Nobody can be swifter than him. But here, a gopi is running swifter than him and catches him from behind. It's actually interesting, right? In Srimad Bhagavatam, we read Kalyavan. When Kalyavan attacked, Mathura, Krishna, he started walking away. He was just walking away from Kalyavan. Kalyavan is running behind Krishna, and Krishna is just walking away. Okay. So Kalyavan is thinking, now I will catch Krishna. Now I like Krishna. He's running with all his might. He's a powerful warrior, powerful king. But he's running behind Krishna and he's not able to catch Krishna. And here, Mother Yashoda, she has, Shukadeva Goswami describes in Srimad Bhagavatam, she has a very, heavy body. And yet, she's able to run behind Krishna and catch him. So, this is the beautiful meditation of Satyavrata Muni in the first verse. That Krishna is running from running mode, and he's being caught from behind by Mother Yashoda. So once he's caught, what he's doing? Is Rudantam muhurnetra yugmam rijantam karam bhoja yugmena satanka netram muhushwasakam patrire kankakantham Sita graivam damodaram bhakti bhadam. So now, once Krishna is caught, then what happens? Rudantam. He starts crying. Mother Yashoda caught him. So Krishna, out of fear, now he knows that he's caught. So he agrees. Yes, yes, mother, I did mistake. So he starts crying, seeing the stick in the mother's hand. So he starts crying. Rudantam. Rudantam muhur. Muhur means again and again. So this word will come a couple of times here. Rudantam muhur. He's crying again and again. But muhu can also be connected with the next, line which says, Netra yugmam rijantam karam bhoja yugmena. So kara means hands, and kara ambuja means lotus. Ambuja means lotus. Ambu is water, and ambuja is something born of water. That is lotus. So kara ambuja means the lotus hands. And yuga is used in the sense of two, a pair. So with a pair of his two lotus hands, kara ambuja yugmena, what he's doing? Netra yugmam mrijantam. Mrijantam means he's rubbing. So he's rubbing his netra, his eyes. Again, yugmam means two. He's rubbing his two eyes with his two lotus hands, again and again. So Krishna is crying. At the same time, he's rubbing his eyes with his two lotus hands. And because tears are coming, so when the tears come, the children try to rub their eyes. So he's rubbing his eyes with his two lotus hands. And this is, again says, Muhu Shwasa. When he's crying, Rudantam, his Shwasa is like, children cry like that, right? Sometimes. So he's doing like that, Muhu Shwasa. He's breathing like this, again and again. And this kind of breathing, then he does that, some phenomena is happening. Some beautiful phenomena is happening. And Sattvat Muni is meditating on that phenomena. What is happening? Kampa, something is trembling. What is trembling? When he's breathing like this, the Trirekanka Kantha Sthita Graivam. So Graivam means necklace. The necklace is kampa, is trembling. But where is necklace situated? It's situated on Trireka Anka Kantha. Kantha means neck. This portion is called Kantha, like Neela Kantha. Lord Shiva is called Neela Kantha because this portion is bluish because of the effect of poison that came out of churning of milk ocean. So, Kantha. But Krishna's Kantha, Sattvat Muni is describing Trireka. It has three lines. You have seen the conch shell? Does anyone ever seen conch shell? Conch shell always has, especially the conch shell that we blow, not the one which you use for bathing, but when we blow, it always has three lines with it. Does anyone, Mother, you have conch shell here at home? You can see, all of you can actually inspect. So Krishna's neck has three lines like the mark on the conch shell. Trirekanka Kantha. Sthita Graivam. Sthita means situated. So the Graivam, the necklace which is situated on the neck of Krishna, is trembling because of when he's crying like this. The necklace is trembling. I don't know. How many of you ever paid attention? You can see here actually. You can pass to everyone. There are three lines inside. You can pass to everyone. So, Sita Graivam Damodaram. So he's meditating on this Lord who is Damodara, whose belly is bound. But bound with not robes. Bhakti Badam. He's bound with bhakti or devotion of his devotees. So in this way, Satyavata Muni is meditating on this beautiful crying of Krishna. Now, we go to the third verse. Iti drikswa leela bhirananda kunde Swagosham nimajantam akyapayantam tadiyeshidaggeshu bhaktarjitatvam puna prematastam shatavriti vande. So, this third verse, Satyavrata Muni, concluding the verse with Shatavritim Vande. Vande means, again, he is doing Vandana. He is doing, pranams to the Lord or offering prayers to the Lord. But hundreds of times, Shatavriti. Shata Avriti means, Kavrita generally used in the sense of covering. So, hundreds of times covering Vande. That means I'm offering hundreds of times my pranam or Vandana to the Supreme Lord. So he says, the Leela which was described in the first two verses, that Krishna is running from Uluka and being caught by Mother Yashoda, and then he's weeping and rubbing his eyes again and again, and he says, Iti driksva bhi. Iti means these kind of pastime which are described in the first two verses. Satyamuni says, Iti driksva bhi. The pastimes like this, his own pastimes, Swalila means his own Leela, his own pastimes like this. Iti six Leela bhir Ananda Kunde Nibajjantam. Ananda Kunde. Kunda means a lake, a pond. But what kind of pond? Ananda Kund. The lake or the pond of joy or ecstasy, pools of ecstasy. He's Nimajjantam, he's drowning. Nimajjantam means to drown. Whom he's drowning? Swaghosham. Ghosha is used in this in the terms of village. Swaghosham means his own village people. The devotees in Vraja, they are his own people. So to them, Krishna is drowning in the pools of ecstasy. What kind of ecstasy can exist? When you see a child crying and being bound with the ropes. Actually, when children do any kind of mischief in this world, it always attracts the minds of their parents. Any child, if you take children's, meditate on any children, they have seen, especially mothers, they can meditate on, they can remember their children's, some silly things also they do. It attracts the heart so much. It gives so much joy, right? I remember one time I was in St. Louis and I was gone to, to do some preaching program, but also there was some housewarming ceremony, some devotees home. So I was invited there to do some yajna. So I was in the home of a devotee who was supposed to take me to the devotee's home, whose home there was yajna. So in the morning we were supposed to go. So I was sitting in the room and chanting. And this devotee, I think Lal Gopal Prabhu, he has a daughter. That time she was around 5 or 6 years old. So she came to my room and said, Prabhu, let's go. We have to go. I said, where are we going? She said, we have to go to somebody's home and there is yajna. So I just said, who's doing yajna? So she said, she got lost. She said, who's doing yajna? I'll go and pooch my mummy. So just mixing Hindi and English. Similarly, I remember, in New Vrindavan we used to live. So Premanand, he actually used to call one devotee Hajibu. But he used to call Hajibu to that devotee, but we never realized what he's saying. Hajibu, Hajibu, Hajibu. He said, Hajibu. One day this devotee came in our home and he came and told him, Papa, Hajibu has come. So I saw this devotee, and this devotee had a habit of saying, Haji Prabhuji. so, so that day we got solved the puzzle. Oh, so this is Haji Boo. So, children, they do any kind of, silly things. It charms the heart of parents, right? So, Krishna, when he's doing any kind of such silliness or, any kind of these pastime, it attracts the heart of all the Brajavasis. In fact, all the Brajavasis drown in the pools of unlimited joy. How much joy the devotee can get by seeing the pastimes of the Lord, it's beyond our comprehension. It is something like, if I'm eating nice feast, I can say, oh, this is so delicious, but nobody will get the taste until I experience it. Or they experience it. They eat themselves. In Lord Chaitanya's pastime, there was one devotee, Sridhar Kolaveja. Sridhar Kolaveja was one such devotee who practically had nothing. He was so poverty stricken. His clothing would be torn at least from 40 places. And he would put a knot. Whenever the clothes get torn, he would put a knot. So his clothes would have at least 40 knots. He was very poor. And for his livelihood, he used to have some banana trees in his backyard. He had a very thatched hut. And the hut was also having so many holes in the roof. In the monsoon and the rainy season, the water will drip everywhere. It was so he would sell the banana and banana leaves which grew in his backyard. And Lord Chaitanya would come every day to the stall of Sridhar Kolaveja, and he would argue with the prices of bananas. He will tell Sridhar, how much are these bananas? And Sridhar will quote the price and he'd say, it's too much. So Sridhar would actually sell his products lowest price in the entire market. And Lord Chaitanya would argue with him, no, you're selling too costly. You're just plundering. So he said, oh, go to anyone else. No, why you're buying from me? He said, no, why I can go for anyone else? You are a good supplier. I want to take from you only, but give me good price. So she said, no, this is the price. Lord Chaitanya said, I will give you only half of this. So he'll say, why you'll give me half? Whatever I get, I use 50% anyway to worship Mother Ganga. So Lord Chaitanya would say, well, I am the Lord and Master of Ganga. And Sridhar didn't know Lord Chaitanya as Supreme Lord. He think, and he's a devotee. When devotee hears something like this, he would cover his ears. Vishnu, Nimai, you are so arrogant. You are saying you are the Master of Ganga? Ganga has come from your feet? This is so much arrogance. And Lord Chaitanya would actually argue in this way, prices trouble Sridhar Kolaveja. And finally, you'd say, I will give you only 50%. If you want, take. And Sridhar said, no, why you take 50%? Then I'll take it like that only. I won't pay you anything. So Lord Chaitanya would practically come and take away bananas or other products he was selling without paying anything. And Sridhar would think, oh, this Brahmana boy is so troublesome. Maybe I have some karma, he's taking away my product like that. But when later on, Sridhar Kolaveja, Lord Chaitanya actually revealed his identity as Supreme Lord to Sridhar Kolaveja, during Sat Prahari Leela. Sridhar was so ecstatic. Lord Chaitanya that time told Sridhar, ask any boon from me. Ask any benediction you want. And Sridhar said, he was poverty-stricken person. He didn't have any money. He was struggling so much. His clothing had, so many knots. And guess what did he ask? He said, my dear Lord, the only benediction I ask is, let the Nimai Pandit come every day to my shop for eternity. Let Nimai Pandit come to my shop, argue with me for the prices of bananas, and take away my bananas and all the things that I have without paying me anything. Let this go on for eternity. Lord Chaitanya told Sridhar, Sridhar, I can give you the kingdom of heavenly plan. I can make you Indra right now. I'll remove Purandar and make you the king of heavenly planets. If you want, I can make you Brahma, the Lord of the entire universe. If you want, I can give you eternal residence in the spiritual world. Sridhar didn't ask any of that. He didn't care for even the eternal residence in spiritual world. He was happy if Nimai came every day to his shop, argued with him for the prices. Just imagine. So devotees, the joy that they get by having any exchange with the Lord is beyond any comprehension. It's only a devotee who has that exchange with the Lord can appreciate it. So in this way, the Brajavasis, they are enjoying Krishna's wonderful leelas. Iti driksva leela bhi ananda kundi sagosham nimajjantam akhyapayantam. Akhyapayantam means to make loud announcement. So Krishna is declaring, making a loud announcement. To whom and what announcement he is making? Tadiyeshi geshu. Tadiya means devotees. So he's declaring to his devotees only. But what kind of devotees? Ishita geshu. Ishita. Ishita means the one who is Ishvara. So controlling aspect of the Ishvara. Geshu means one who's conscious of, who has knowledge of. So devotees who have knowledge of Krishna's majesty or his controlling aspect, to such devotees, he is declaring, what he is declaring? Bhaktir jitatvam. I am conquered by bhakti, not by knowledge, not by Aishwarya. I am conquered by bhakti. Bhaktir jitatvam. This is what he is declaring to all the devotees who are very much attracted to his majesty or with Aishwarya. Puna prematastam shatavritim vande. So, Puna, again with prema, because he already offered obeisances before. So one may think he's doing redundant. Again he's saying prayer, offering obeisance, but he says, Puna, again I am offering with love, prema, tam, unto that Supreme Lord Damodar, Shatabhritim Vande. Hundreds of times I am offering again obeisances. Such a beautiful meditation. Fourth verse he says, Varam deva moksham na moksham vadim vam nachanyam vrineham vareshadapiham idam te vapurnatha gopala balam sadame manasya virastam kimanyam. Says Varam deva. Varam means a boon. Varmang. So Varam means some boon. Varam deva moksham na. So he says, my dear Lord, Deva. Deva means, oh my Lord. I am not asking any vara, any boon for moksham. Moksham na. I don't want liberation. But next he says, moksha avadhim va. What is the moksha avadhim? Rajivan Prabhu can, with his Sanskrit scholarship, he can explain very good. Moksha is liberation, and avadhim means, vadha means death, and avadha means without death. So he says, I don't want liberation which is without death also. That means there's the death to the liberation as well. Now this reminds a beautiful verse from 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Rajunpu, you can remind that verse? Aruya krichena param padam tata patanti adha anajita yushmad angraya. So, Shukdev Goswami, he says, there's a liberation which is destroyed in due course of time. Aruya krichena param padam. Param padam means to attain this, the spiritual realm. Param padam is spiritual realm. So there are people who attain the spiritual realm, but from there, aruya krichena, they again fall to this material world. Who are these people? Anadrita yushmadangre, those who do not take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Such people, even though they are liberated, they again fall back to this material world. So moksha is destroyed for them in due course of time. They attain moksha, they go to the spiritual world, but again come to the material world. So their moksha is destroyed. So Satyavat Muni says, I don't want moksha. I don't want moksha which has avadhim, which is not destroyed also. That means residence in the spiritual world. That moksha is never destroyed. If you go to the spiritual world and you attain one of the planets of Krishna's, different incarnations, then you never come back to this material world. So that moksha is called moksha avadhim, the liberation which is never destroyed. So he said, I don't want that also. So he doesn't want moksha. He doesn't want residence in the spiritual world also. Nacha anyam. Now, if you don't want the spiritual world resident also, what else can be there? He say any other thing you can think of. Nacha anyam. I don't want anything else. Vrine. Nacha anyam vrine aham. I do not choose anything else also. Then Vara Ishad. Vara means boon, and Ishad means the Lord. You, Lord, who can give any kind of boon. I don't want any of these boons from you. Then he says, then what do you want? If you don't want moksha, if you don't want residence in the spiritual world, you don't want any other boon, then what do you want? He says, Idam te vapurnath gopala balam. Idam, this form of yours, my Lord. Idam te vapur. This form, vapu means this particular form of yours, my Lord. Gopala balam. Balam means child. Child of a Gopa, of Nanda Maharaj. Idam te vapur nath gopala balam. Hey Nath, oh my Lord, this form of yours as Bala Gopal. Sada me manasi. Sada means always. Manasi means in my mind. So, there are two words which are used in this sentence which actually indicate the desperation of Satyavrata Muni. He says, Sada means always. I always want this form of Gopal. Avirastam. Avirastam. Viras, Viram is generally said in the sense of rest. Avira means no rest. So always, without any rest, this form be manifest in my heart, enter in my heart. Sada me manas avirastam. Kim anyay. What is the use of any other boon beside this? In front of this boon, there is no use of any other boon. Now just imagine if somebody told us, you will get 100 millions or you will get only remembrance of Krishna. What do you choose? I'm looking at everyone. So, but Satyamuni is saying, Kim Anya, what is the use of any other boon? If I can remember this form of yours, my Lord, in my mind, what is the use of any other boon beside this? Yeah. And then we go to the text 5th now. Idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nilam ritam kuntalay snigdha raktaishta gopyam muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya virastamalam lakshalabhay. He says, now in this verse, again, he's actually meditating on the form of the Lord and asking for, similar kind of benediction that he was requesting in the previous verse. He says, Idam, this form of your Lord, my Lord, Idam te, yours, Idam te mukha ambujam. The second verse he was saying Kara ambuja, now he's saying mukha ambuja. The face of the Lord is also like a lotus. And Sanatan Goswami says Krishna's face is like Prafulla Kamalakar. Prafulla Kamalakar means, Prafulla is used in the sense of fully blossomed. So Krishna's face is actually like a fully blossomed lotus. Sometimes the lotus is closed, right? Sometimes it's half open. But when the lotus is fully open, all the petals are spread, and you can see the pericarp in the center. It looks so beautiful. And I remember in Vrindavan we had a lake outside the Palace of Gold. It was filled with lotuses, pink lotuses. Especially in the summertime, I used to go walk chanting in the morning, and you could see in the morning as soon as sun rises, all the lotuses will be fully bloom. Okay? So Krishna's face is fully blossom lotus. Idam te mukha ambuja. And Krishna's face is also, sorry, reading that. So idam te mukha ambuja. Sanatan Goswami says also, Krishna's face is Nikhila Santapa Hari. If somebody simply looks at the face of Krishna, all his santapa, all his distress is destroyed. In fact, that is one of the reason is advised that we should go to temple. We should go to temple not just to see the face of the Lord, but also the Lord sees us with his beautiful, glance. He glances over us, and that also destroys all the inauspiciousness from our life. But Krishna's face is like a ambuja, like a lotus, and it can destroy all the distress and miseries. Idam te mukham bhojam. But he's meditating now. Atyanta nila. This face of yours, my Lord, is atyanta nila. Nila means blue. Deep blue means dark complexion. Generally, black is called atyanta nila. So Krishna's face, like, I don't know if you have ever observed the blue sky in the daytime, right? When the evening comes, it becomes more and more bluish, darker, and ultimately it becomes black, dark. So when the blue becomes too deep, it becomes black. So he says, your mukha ambuja is atyanta nila, is actually dark. Krishna's face is dark, atyanta nila. And ritam kuntala, it is surrounded by, ritam means surrounded by kuntala. Kuntala means curly hairs, locks of curly hairs. So ritam kuntala, your face is encircled by locks of curly hair. And snigdha raktesh, your face is nilar, is bluish, but it has a hue of reddishness. Especially the cheeks of Krishna have reddish hue. That will be explained in the next line by Satyavadmani. So snigdha, it's also glossy. So Krishna's face is very glossy. So when he's wearing kundala, the kundalas are reflected in the face of Krishna. His face is so shiny and glossy. I remember in Chabari temple, we used to dress Gopal. Maharaj used to insist that Krishna's face should shine. You should apply oil to Krishna's face. Should be glossy, especially black marble deity of Krishna, Gopal. If you apply oil, it looks very glossy. So Krishna's face is snigdha, is glossy. And raktash, it has a tinge or hue of reddishness. Why reddishness? Because gopya muhushchumbitam. Because of the gopi kissing his face again and again. Now this gopi could refer to Mother Yashoda. It could also refer to Radharani. Because they are the two gopis who always kiss the face of Krishna. Okay. So muhushchumbitam. His face has the reddish hue because of being again kissed by Gopi, Mother Yashoda. And bhimba rakta adharam. Adhara means lips. And says rakta adhara, your lips are also reddish. Rakta means blood color. Reddish. You know where this red lipstick come from? The concept of applying red lipstick. Because Krishna has naturally reddish lips. And how reddish? Bimba. You've seen bimba fruit? Anyone seen bimba fruit? I think all of you have seen. You know what is bimba? Tindola. We buy tindola sabji, right? If you leave it even in your home, it'll turn red. But if it turns red on the tree, it becomes really deep red color. So that is Krishna's lips color. Bimba rakta dharam. He says again, Manas abhirastam alam lakshalabe. Let this beautiful form of yours, my Lord, manasi. Again he says, abhirastam. Constantly manifest in my heart. Alam lakshalabe. Alam means I consider this superior. Alam means to consider something superior. So I consider this bone superior than lakshalabhai. Laksha means lakhs and lakhs of other bones are insignificant compared to this particular bone. If I can meditate on this beautiful form of yours. Now, whenever there are prayers, written by any Vaishnava acharyas, they always want to do kirtan in between, or towards the end, they always want to do kirtan. So the sixth verse is Satyavrat Muni is doing kirtan now. He's saying, Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jalabhimadnam Kripa Drishti Vristyati Dinam Batanu Grihani Shamamagyane Vyakshidrishyam. I think it's only 8:34. Should we continue or? I'll do Aarti also. Okay. So we'll wind up in another 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. Maybe I think we can complete this verse and remaining 2 words we'll do some other time. Okay. Huh? No? I don't want everyone to be hungry and delay the whole program. It's okay. Huh? Okay, we can finish this verse and then next 2 verses we'll discuss some other time. Okay. So he says, Nama. Again, he's offering obeisance. This is may appear redundant, but Vaishnavas always never feel tired of offering obeisances to other Vaishnavas and also to the Lord. So never feel that um, people feel tired of, I'm offering obeisances. No, actually, in fact, I remember in the beginning days of our Krishna consciousness in 94, 95, we were trained to every day you get up in the morning, you offer obeisances to each and every devotee in the temple. But I remember it was so wonderful. It was so, you know, strengthening the relationships, because you naturally tend to see everyone as Vaishnava. So we used to actually get up in the morning and offer obeisances to each and everyone. And every devotee used to do that. Everyone. Bowing down. Because Raghunath Goswami used to offer 2,000 Vaishnavas every day. But we used to offer only 20, 30 devotees. Huh? Good exercise, yes. Therefore, you're all healthy. No, in fact, I think all the back pain of devotees disappeared who even had back pain. So, Satyavat Muni is again offering obeisances. Namo Deva. So he's using different names of the Lord now. Deva, he's indicating by Deva word, generally the demigods in the heavenly planet, they are called Deva. So they have celestial beauty. So here Satyavat Muni is using the word Deva means Krishna's beauty is celestial. It's not ordinary beauty. He said, my dear Lord, who has celestial beauty. Namo Deva, Damodara. Damodara means the Lord who is bound by the love of his devotees. Okay. Namo Deva, Damodara, Ananta. You see, in the third line, he's actually requesting something to the Lord. My dear Lord, please be manifest to me. So all these different names, Sanatan Goswami says, he's actually requesting and counter, arguing Krishna. Because Krishna may say, why you want to see me? Because you are Deva, you are celestial beauty. Therefore, I want to see you, my dear Lord. And Damodara, you are bound by the love of your devotees. And Krishna may say, well, that's all right, but I also have limitations, how many devotees I can show myself to. This is Ananta. You are unlimited, my Lord. You have no limitations. You can expand yourself and be present with each and every devotee. So there's no limitation for you, Ananta. Then Krishna may say, well, I am situated in Golok Vrindavan, you are in the material world. How can I do that? Vishnu. Vishnu means the Lord who's all pervading. He's present everywhere. He's my dear Lord, you are Vishnu. You don't have to run or come from Golok Vrindavan and take an airplane and come here. You can manifest wherever you want because you are everywhere. Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu. Prasida means please be merciful to me. Please become compassionate on me. Prasida, become happy with me. Prabhu, because you are Prabhu, you are master. You are not accountable to anyone. Nobody can put a question to you like Brahma. He gave benediction to Hiranyakashipu and Lord chastised him. Don't give such benedictions. But that's not the case with the Lord. My dear Lord, you are Prabhu, you are master. You are not answerable to anyone. Namo Prasida Prabhu. Please be merciful to me. Why? Dukkha jalabdi magnam, because I am drowning. Magna means I am drowning in the dukkha jala abdi. Jala means water and abdi means water body, ocean. So I'm drowning in the ocean. What kind of ocean? Dukkha, in the miseries. I'm drowning in the ocean of miseries or sorrows. So therefore, kripa drishti vristyati. Kripa means mercy and drishti means, the glance. So my dear Lord, vrishyati. Vrishyati means to shower the rain, like the vrishti. The rain is called vrishti. So he say, kripa drishti vrishyati. Please shower the merciful glance on me. Because I am drowning in dukkha, sagar. Deenam bata. Because I am very deena. Before he says, I am drowning in the ocean of dukkha. Now he says, I am very deena. Deena means helpless. I am distressed or helpless person. It's called Deena. Deena bata anugrahaneshu. Grahaneshu has anu, which is in the previous line. So it says anugrahaneshu. Anugrahaneshu means, anugraha, like we say anugraha means again to be, merciful. So anugrahaneshu mam. My dear Lord, be merciful to me. Again he's repeating, my dear Lord, please be merciful to me. I am drowning in the ocean of distress. I am Deena. So please be merciful to me. Mam, unto me. Agya. Agya means fool. An ignorant person is called Agya. So I am drowning in the ocean of sorrows. I am Deena. I am fool. Ed Akshidrisha. Please become manifest to my eyes. Edi means to manifest, and Akshidrisha, in the line of my vision. Wherever I look, you should be present in front of me. This is the request by Satyavrata Muni in this beautiful words. So in this way, you can imagine, if you meditate on this prayer, when you are actually chanting these prayers, it is so enlivening. It is so purifying. So therefore, from hence afterward, whenever we sing Damodarashtakam, you can actually meditate on each and every word and each and every verse. Then you can actually relish Damodarashtakam. It's not like, oh, we have been singing for, so many days. It's okay now. You'll be able to relish it because this becomes a meditation. At least once a day in the month of Kartik, every day, we meditate in this way, these 8 verses. And this actually is very conducive for developing immense attachment to the beautiful form of the Lord. We actually become attached to Krishna's form. And if we become attached to Krishna, at the end of this life, we will go back to Krishna. So this prayer is actually very conducive for going back home, back to Godhead. So this will, I think, stop here. Thank you very much. Shri Damodarashtakam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we don't have time for questions, right? Do we want to have questions? Sure. Yes, Madam. Here, Madam, you can take this.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, I was just thinking that Satyavrata Muni was actually meditating on the Lordships, and he was doing that. And I know that towards the end, when Radharani things come, and in the spiritual world, he's saying that he wants to look at the form of Lord Krishna, who is the really small little Gopal. And but in the spiritual world, there is no form of the Lord that's small. So how do we connect that? Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Actually, all the pastimes of the Lord are eternal in one way. But in the spiritual world, of course, Krishna's Leelas, he performs his pastime as youth, eternal youth, and but his pastimes as Gopal, Balagopal, is there in the material world eternally, in the material existence. So in one or other universe, Krishna is constantly performing these pastimes. So even Balagopal form of the Lord is eternal. And devotees who are attached to this Balagopal form of the Lord, they are given an opportunity to be constant companions of the Lord in his worldly pastimes. In fact, Srila Prabhupada explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think that is in the Sakshi Gopal pastime. I think Srila Prabhupada or Bhakti Thakur, I think one of the two, explain that there are some pure devotees of the Lord who are constantly present in the material world. So some pure devotee of the Lord who have no contamination, they are actually fit to live in the spiritual world, but they are always here in the material world to assist the pastimes of the Lord. So Satyavrat Muni, if he is aspiring for seeing the Bal Gopal form of the Lord, then he can always be present in Krishna's earthly pastimes in some universe.
Very nice, Prabhu. Satyavrata Muni is actually the person who becomes the Manu next thing, right, Prabhu?
He's the
So
current. He's the current Manu.
Current, the
Vaivaswata Manu. Yeah.
The Vaivasvata Manu.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he's the same person from the Matsyavatara. That's how that canto finishes and starts. Thank you.
That's right, Mane. Yes, Mate.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. I was thinking the Lord's pastime happens eternally in the spiritual world. So that is wrong understanding. Like you said, the Bal Gopal form is only in the material existence. So does that mean that in spiritual world there is no Bal Gopal form?
That is the understanding that we get from the verdict of Vaishnava Acharyas, but it's not limited. Do you remember, Prabhu, in Golok Vrindavan, right? Sanatan Goswami, that's what explains, right? But whenever, if there's a need, Krishna can manifest his childhood pastimes in this. There's no limitation in the spiritual world. But in spiritual world, Krishna constantly performs his pastimes as a fresh youth. But whether in the spiritual world or in the material world, doesn't make any difference, because Krishna's pastimes are all spiritual. They are all, performed in Satchid Ananda form, and they are performed in the Golok Vrindavan only. The portion of Golok Vrindavan manifests in Bhauma Vrindavan. So nothing there is material. Everything is spiritual only. So absolutely there is no difference between the pastime performed in the Paravyoma by the Lord or the pastime performed in the material world. And sometime you'll see the Lord is actually even traveling, like Krishna is traveling from Hastinapur to Dwarka, or from Dwarka to Hastinapur, or different place, or going to Mithila. So whenever the Lord is traveling also, his dham expands. Krishna's dham keep expanding in the material world. It keeps expanding because Krishna never keeps his foot in the material existence. So even in the material world, wherever Krishna steps out from his city, like Dwarka or Mathura, the dham keep expanding. I remember His Holiness Varshana Swami Maharaj used to explain this. He said, the dham of the Lord is like the lotus. Like the lotus can open, in the presence of sunlight, the lotus can open. Similarly, Krishna's desire facilitates the dham to open and expand anywhere. So wherever Krishna goes, when he's performing his earthly pastimes, that place becomes dham.
Thank you. Prabhu.
Just one related question, Prabhu, that when you said that the devotees who are desiring for Bala Gopal from, he'll be stuck in the material world. Sometimes we may get scared. Our experience of material world is not so good. So could you clarify that?
Okay.
Stuck with the material world also.
Actually, that's a very wonderful question, Prabhu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 12th canto, when Shukadeva Goswami is about to finish Bhagavatam, he narrated so many topics, right? But toward the end, when he's about to leave, he's telling Shukadeva Goswami that, my dear Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadeva Goswami telling Parikshit Maharaj, my dear King Parikshit, give up this animalistic mentality of being this material body. You are not this body, you are spirit soul. Don't think that Takshaka is going to come and bite you and you're going to die. You can never die. The body gets destroyed, but you never die. No? And a devotee never feels afraid of even pralaya. Now just imagine, pralaya means what? The whole world gets inundated with water. Or the sun becomes 12 times hotter and there's no water, everything gets sucked out. Now just imagine if that happens right now. Just this moment, the water starts rising, a lot of rain comes and the whole world starts drowning. So, will you be afraid? Yes, we will be afraid, right? That is because we are still thinking this body to be something significant. Not because we have understanding, but we don't have realization that this body is anyway, I have to leave. Today or tomorrow, I have to leave this body. But because of the bodily concept, like we continue to cherish this body as a very dear object. So as long as that remains, yes, material world is a fearful existence. But Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he says, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, Vidhi Mahendra Adishcha Kitayate. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. Even this material world becomes a happy place for a devotee. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. There is no distress for a devotee in the material world also. So, material or spiritual world, for a devotee, as long as he has the opportunity to serve Krishna, there is no material existence. There's no fear of material existence. So fear is there only as long as we have bodily concept of life and we have attraction for sense enjoyment. Material world is very fearful place. Really. Yes, Maharaji. How will it look like? It really depends on Swarupa Siddhi of every living entity. So somebody may be a honey bee, somebody may be a bird, somebody may be a creeper, somebody may be a gopi or gopa or a cow. So it depends on what is one's Swarupa is. Swarupa means our constitutional position in the spiritual world. So all of us, we have Swarupa. We have some service in the spiritual world, which we have forgotten now. So we keep taking the material forms in this world. But all of us, we have some Swarupa. We have our original identity in the spiritual world. So when we go to the spiritual world, we revive that identity. And that is permanent. And that is without any limitations. Okay. So it's not that a devotee who is serving Krishna as a honeybee he's stuck to be honeybee. If the devotee desires to serve Krishna in different way, he can actually, or Krishna desires that devotee should serve in different way. Like, there is a beautiful, instance quoted from the scriptures that once Krishna is walking, and his Gopa is there with him. And it's a very hot summer day. So Krishna thinks, it's so hot, I want to take bath. And there's no pond around. So the Gopa turns into a pond. He becomes a pond. Krishna enters the pond, swims and becomes cool and refreshed and comes out. And then Krishna is thinking, oh, there's no tree here where I can, change my clothes and, dry myself. Then the boy immediately transforms from lake to a tree, and Krishna stands under the tree, and then he takes rest under the tree. And then after Krishna takes rest, he again gets up, starts walking. The devotee from tree, again he becomes a cowherd boy, starts walking with Krishna. So there is no limitation. So devotees have all the siddhis, they have all the magical powers. Like Krishna, they can serve Krishna in whatever they want, or whatever way Krishna wants them to. But everyone has a constitutional position, an original position, Swarupa, in which they serve Krishna. And they feel completely satisfied in serving Krishna in that way. So it's not that somebody who's a creeper or a blade of grass, he thinks, oh, I'm stuck here at the blade of grass. No. The blade of grass is always happy and is eager now. Sometime Krishna or his devotees will come and step over me. So I will act as a cushion. So they're eagerly looking forward to that moment. And they're completely satisfied in that way. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yes, bro.
Bro, I was just thinking that in this particular Damodarashtakam, it seems like the focus was on the Damodar Leela, the Vatsalya mood. But then Satyavrata Muni ends up with Radharani is the most dear to you. So could you please explain what's the significance?
Somebody will go to then, seventh verse. What happened to Nani Alukuvera? But anyway, Madhurena Samapyait. Sanatan Goswami explains that the pastimes of the Lord or any prayer that he's written should be ending with Madhurya. So that has twofold meanings. So Krishna's pastime, of course, Damodar Leela is a prominently saturated with Vatsalya Bhav, but nothing in Krishna's pastime is without Madhurya. So there's a tinge of Madhurya in every pastime of Krishna. So therefore, Satyavrata Muni is concluding his prayers by remembering the Madhurya. Okay. Therefore, he says, Namo Radhikaya. So remembering Radhika and Ananta Leelaya. The word Ananta Leela actually refers to Krishna's other pastimes of Rasa Leela. But the another meaning of Madhurya is that prayers should conclude with sweetness and without any controversy. So no controversy and ending, keeping everyone happy is also called Madhurya, sweetness, because if he directly mentions of Rasa Leela, then somebody may have objection. Some people anyway hate, Krishna because of his Rasa Leela. Somebody may even bring up that topic, why Krishna is performing Leela like this. Therefore, he doesn't mention Rasa Leela. He says, Namo Ananta Leela, my dear Lord, I offer my obeisances to your unlimited pastimes. So he's concluding with remembering the Rasa Leela, the Madhurya, but he's concluding the prayers also with Madhurya, that sweetness, keeping intact so that nobody has any opportunity to criticize or, create any controversy. So yes, it is. Krishna's pastimes are saturated with Madhurya. Yes, Madhurya. Yes. So, for a pure devotee of the Lord, the person who is engaged fully in the service of the Lord, for him, there is no material existence. Even the devotee comes to material world, there is no material existence for him. But for everyone else, the material existence and the miseries of material existence are uh, tremendously fearful, causing tremendous fear. Okay. So therefore, when the Nityasiddha associates of the Lord, they come to this material world, they definitely teach that this material world is not a place to live in. Because in the material world, everything deteriorates. Our body deteriorates, our possessions, everything deteriorates, our knowledge deteriorates, everything deteriorates. One thing does not deteriorate in the material world. One thing actually keeps increasing more and more in the material world. And that is ajnana, ignorance. The more you stay in the material world, ignorance will keep increasing. So therefore, the Vaishnava, the associates of the Lord, they don't recommend to live in the material world. But a pure devotee of the Lord, even if he's in the material world, he is not really in the material world, because living in the material world is a matter of consciousness. A pure devotee of the Lord is fully Krishna conscious. So he has no material aspirations. His only focus is to serve Krishna. So for him, there is no material existence. So therefore, there's no fears of material existence for him. But yes, that's true. The material world is not a place to make one's residence. If Krishna wants us to, then yes, there is no problem. Then there will not be material for us if Krishna wants us to live. But if we want to live, then there's a problem. Okay. Now, Brahma, I didn't understand your question. Certain lifespan, yes. It really depends. If the Brahma is practicing Krishna consciousness, then at the end of his life, he will go to the spiritual world and take every one of his associates to the spiritual world. But if he is not a pure devotee, if he has more and more material aspirations developed, then he will degrade from Brahma's life to lower forms. So he'll again take birth in the material world, maybe some demigod or some other species, and then come down, more and more degrade. Hare Krishna. Yes, if anyone is pure, he has developed aspiration to go to the spiritual world, they will go to the spiritual world. And in fact, they don't have to even wait for Brahma's lifespan to finish. But generally, according to, I think, Lagu Bhagavatamrit, all the demigods who serve, who do some service, like, Purandar is now serving as the Indra. So when he finishes his term as Indra, he lives a retired life in Brahmaloka. He goes to Brahmaloka and becomes associate of Brahma. So then he lives the retired life there. No more material struggle. Brahmaloka is more or less free from material struggles. Say, except sometime demons like Madhukata will come, and then there is a fear. But generally, it's like a retired life. You're living in some part of, Florida. You have a big farm or some place. Live a, peaceful life. Or you live in some remote area in some remote farm land in California. You have your whole palatial home. So that's how the Brahmaloka is. They don't have any worry about earning their livelihood or making ends, their financial aspect. No, nothing to worry. But when they are playing their duties like Indra, he has a lot of anxiety. But living in Brahmaloka is like a tired life. So the only thing they do there is bhajan. They can do bhajan and kirtan of the Lord. Very good. Well, the calendar, Vaishnava calendar actually of two kinds. Some devotees, some people follow from Amavasya to Amavasya, and some follow from Purnima to Purnima. So there are two calendars, Vedic calendars. So you will find 15 days lag between the two calendars. So yes, say for example, we will conclude our Damodar or Kartik month in 4 days on Purnima. But that'll be the middle of the month for some of the people in not only South India, even our family, they used to follow that Amavasya to Amavasya calendar. So our Damodar or Kartik month used to begin from the day of Diwali. So Diwali to 1 month. So there are two calendars, but in Vaishnava tradition, we follow from Purnima to Purnima calendar. Thank you. Prabhupada ki jai.